Alright, so this lesson is going to be about vocabulary and how to use it correctly. I've been looking at your sentences, and some of the words are being used correctly and some words are not being used correctly. So let's take a look at the words on the screen that we have come up with in the classroom. Right? Death toll. The death toll is steadily rising after the massive earthquake hit Japan. The death toll, something that where the number of people. So the death toll is steadily rising, is gradually increasing. All right. Hurricane, tsunami, tornado, flood, earthquake, volcano, drought, typhoon, cyclones. These are all different kinds of natural disasters with nouns that we can easily use. So I'm just going to move on, and now we see rescue team. The rescue team is working 24 hours trying to save people who are buried under the rubble. So the rescue team, people who are working in organizations who are busy, very busy, their job is to help others during a natural disaster. The firefighters are helping the rescue team by trying to douse the fire in the forests, all right, if there's a wildfire. Survivors, people who are alive. The tsunami made sure that there were hardly any survivors in the region of Kobe, all right. Survivors, people who managed to survive a natural disaster. Avalanche is again in the name of natural disaster, or a hazard actually. Emergency programs are in place. People have been trained to handle an emergency such as a natural disaster, all right? Something that happens all of a sudden, and you have to act really quickly in order to handle a disaster. So emergency units are all waiting in place. The moment the tsunami strikes, they will start preparing, trying to save people, trying to medicate them, trying to give them shelter, food, etc. Casualty, the number of people who are injured or dead is the casualty. So the casualty unit in the hospital is full, or the casualty after the volcano struck Iceland is steadily increasing. All right. Destruction. This word comes from destroy. Okay. Destruction, destructive. The hurricane is destructive. It's caused a lot of destruction. The hurricane can destroy lives of people. Fierce. The wind, as a result of the cyclone, is extremely fierce. The wind is fierce. A fierce wind is blowing across the land right now, across the town of one of the towns in Mexico. The raging winds or the raging waves are pounding the shores of Japan. Raging, fierce. Lightning can be a hazard, and it can be a disaster when it causes damage. Pouring, it's pouring cats and dogs. What does that mean? That means there's a downpour, there's a torrential rain. The wind is blowing. Wrath, the wrath of the volcano scares the people. Wrath, the anger. The headmaster's wrath made all the students really scared. Water from the Pacific Ocean inundated the little island, flooded, covered up, submerged. There's been a landslide, the landslide, remember? The land sliding, so that's another kind of a disaster. The landslide has caused massive devastation, devastating. The hurricane caused a lot of devastation. It was devastating for me when I experienced the hurricane. My mom was devastated when she came to know that I was in a city that was experiencing a raging hurricane. Torrential downpour. Because of the cyclone, in Kerala, there's been a torrential downpour. So we go up a little seismograph. People use a seismograph to monitor an earthquake, to see whether it is the vibrations are increasing or decreasing, whether we should call it a state of emergency. When the seismograph starts really vibrating hard, an earthquake is happening right now, and we need to declare a state of emergency. All the infrastructure has been destroyed because of the earthquake. Infrastructure means buildings, bridges, roads, schools, hospitals, everything that has structure in a community, that people use in a community to function in a society. All right, so we have Richter scale seismograph. These things need research, so we need to find out what they are exactly. And when we do research about the earthquakes, we'll find out more about the Richter scale. Massive. The tsunami waves are massive. The cyclone causes cyclonic weather, an adjective, cyclonic weather. The cyclonic weather is extremely destructive. It is destroying the environment. The lava is pouring out of the volcano. The crust of the earth is constantly moving. Caldera, again, as you're researching, we'll do these. These are more of a research words that you need to find out, not to be used in sentences per se, unless, they're just simply nouns. So caldera, plates, again, earthquake and volcanoes. When we research about them, we'll come to know. Molten. Metal in a molten state can be made to form any shape. Molten is melted. We can melt metal and make it molten. Homeless people are left without shelter during a natural disaster. When the earth shakes, it's another way of saying that it vibrates. Boulders are huge rocks. During a landslide, huge boulders come crashing down the sides of the mountain. Saffir-Simpson, another measure, I think it's for hurricanes. I need to do a bit of research. Sirens. The sirens are blasting as the ambulance races by to save the survivors. Meteorologists are investigating the weather in Haiti to see whether the hurricane is going to cause more damage. The twister is meandering across the land, eating up whatever comes in its path. There's been widespread damage because of the twister. Many people are injured. The mantle of the earth is moving just beneath the crust. The atmosphere around the earth is becoming polluted because of this volcano in Iceland. A lot of injury occurs during a natural disaster. People get hurt. The atmospheric pressure under the sea is extremely high, but as we go up, it becomes less and less. The destructive forces of a natural disaster can cause a lot of damage. Smoking is injurious to health. During a natural disaster, our daily lives are disrupted. A lot of debris is found after a natural disaster. Smoke is billowing from the kitchen. Houses and trees are submerged during the flood. The fire is blazing in the fireplace. The scorching heat made me feel very thirsty. It's really catastrophic when an earthquake strikes in a crowded area. What triggered the earthquake, I'm not sure, but I know that there was a lot of wreckage. During a thunderstorm, hailstones, huge balls of ice, different sizes sometimes, small, big, can fall and hurt people. A vortex, the twister moves. It's a vortex is kind of, I don't know how to use it in a sentence, maybe we'll look at that, is a spinning, constant spinning. That's what a twister does. It's a vortex. It's a spinning mass of air and water, all right? Because of a tornado, they can be, that meanders, moves from side to side like a, like a wave. Anywhere, it can go anywhere. A lot of victims fall in its path and can die. And rubble, rubble, wreckage, rubble, debris, all could be termed as synonyms. So I hope you've listened to all the words and how I've used them. Maybe some could be made even better than what I've tried. Keep listening to this until you get it.